Okay, another story to bring you today. Romania has categorically denied Ukraine's claims that a Russian drone detonated on the European nation's territory. The statement, which was put forward, then promoted by Kiev, has been rejected by Bucharest.
The Ministry of National Defense categorically denies information from the public space regarding a so-called situation that occurred during the night of September 3rd to 4th, in which Russian drones allegedly fell on the national territory of Romania.
Well, in the light of Kiev's disproved claim, a Romanian news outlet states that Ukraine is trying, in their view, to force Russia into a direct conflict with Nato, as Article 5 of the alliance's treaty states that an attack against a Nato member is considered an attack against the entire bloc. But despite the official denial by Romania, Kiev remains resolute on its initial claim. Let's cross live now to former Indian ambassador to Romania and a host of other nations as well, Rajiv Dogra. Ambassador, you are most welcome. Thank you for your time today, sir. Despite the clear denials from Bucharest, Kiev keeps pushing the claim forward. What's your take on why Ukraine would do that?
Well, firstly, I must say that Romania, as per your report, acted responsibly in being quick with the facts. It has stated very clearly that no attack took place on the Romanian soil. So that sort of dilutes the aggression in Ukraine's approach. I am a little surprised that the brinkmanship, the very dangerous skating on ice that Zelensky has been doing for the past so many months is almost unstoppable. It seems as if Zelensky is bent on drawing somehow or the other NATO into the conflict. And that will be dangerous not just for the region and in particular for Ukraine, but also for countries in other parts of the world. Already we are seeing that this conflict is having its impact, whether in terms of oil issue, gas issue, or food supplies to the rest of the world. So I think it is time that Western countries ask Zelensky to act responsibly. The second point is that Western countries themselves should have come forward and they should have done what Romania has done, in the sense that the public admonition to Zelensky that spreading false propaganda is not in anyone's interest. In fact, it could cost many human lives.
Your view on, indeed, what the Romanian news outlets are stating in editorials and more, they're saying, sir, that Ukraine's aim is to orchestrate a full-scale war between Russia and NATO.
Well, I'm not surprised if they're saying that, because a lot of Western countries, if you read their recent media reports, are also worried that Zelensky is trying to trap them into a situation which will not be to anyone's benefit and which will only end up escalating the war beyond imagination. So I think if newspapers and media reports in Romania are advising caution, that has to be welcomed and that has to be listened to and read very carefully.
How do you see this spat between Bucharest and Kiev going forward? How likely is it that Kiev will now admit its error after such staunch opposition to its claims?
Well, firstly, I think we should go back a little bit in history. I mean, I've been ambassador to Romania, to Moldova, and I've visited Ukraine and handled Ukraine as a diplomat from the Indian viewpoint. All I can say is that Romania and Ukraine have had a history of not the greatest of friendly relations. So I'm not surprised that Ukraine thought that it would find an easy target in involving Romania and thereafter NATO. So Romania has seen through the game and I think that is very intelligent of them. The other thing I want to point out is that these developments are not new to me. In fact, I want to show you, I hope it comes clearly. This is my recent book, Wartime. And here I have written a chapter on Russia, on President Putin in particular, and also on the war, which had just started when this book was going into print. And the entire object of Wartime is to say that world is entering a dangerous new phase where we may be faced with a big war in the sense of almost global proportions. So I think it is time that world sits up and sees through Zelensky's game plan, because how long can Russian patience last? How long can President Putin's patience last? And how long can West continue to be deceived by Zelensky? So I think if you read more and more of newspaper articles and also some of the TV comments coming in from London, Washington, Berlin, then you realize that people are getting apprehensive as to where the world is going.
Because questioning more.
So far, it has not had any positive benefits or positive fallouts for any of the Western countries, leave aside countries beyond Europe.
Can I also just briefly touch upon the issue of accusations such as these by Kiev, sir? Are they tarnishing Ukraine's credibility on the world stage when they say something like this and then it's immediately dismissed? Because in the past, it's got through. You know, only Kiev's message is getting through to the West. That's all people are hearing and digesting. But now you've got a nation like Romania saying, well, hold on a minute. What you're saying, Ukraine, is wrong.
Well, just like my book talks a lot about the Ukraine war and also about the next big war in the world, I believe there's a book which has come out recently in America where President Biden's private opinion of Zelensky is devastating. I don't think it can make Zelensky happy. And if he reads that book, he will feel that he's been doing a great harm to his country by spreading his lies. So I think America, UK in particular, Germany already are realizing that they have been led down the wrong path, and there is a need to sort of have a pause and think where Zelensky will keep on leading them and whether it is in their interests.
Just finally, while we have you on the program, your overall sense then of what appears to be a prolonged and failed counteroffensive by Kiev this summer. Do you see the accusations now in sync with Ukraine's war policy, throwing the kitchen sink at things to try and get some movement as regards that counteroffensive? Because it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, I'm not a war expert or a defense expert, but I am a strategic expert. I have a long experience in diplomacy and seeing the roughs and the positives of world affairs. And all I can say is by closely watching the media reports, both Western and from other parts of the world, including India, it seems that Ukrainians themselves are unhappy with the way things are going. Otherwise, so many young Ukrainians would not have left Ukraine and gone off to Poland and other countries in Europe. Okay. That is why Zelensky's recent diktat is to get them extradited from those Western countries so that they can serve in the Ukrainian army. So this shows some kind of a desperation because Ukrainian people are now at the end of their patience.
Thank you, sir, very much for your time and your thoughts. Always top-notch analysis from former India ambassador to Romania, Rajiv Dogra, and also author of the book Wartime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, if you'd like to delve deeper into any of our stories this hour, RT.com. As you covered, always fresh content, lively discussions to get stuck into there. Bye for now.